consegui abrir todo o altar, porque tá sem água.
Aí o terreno também.
Se quiser, eu posso ficar fazendo as viagens ali no domingo.
Não, se fez os principais, tá bom. Temos que ser pragmáticos.
Começou, né?
Ok, obrigado. Test. Hello, welcome to our Red Tar group. Hope everybody's well on this Tuesday evening. For a long time, we've been contemplating the four immeasurable qualities based on the teachings in Rinpoche's book, Change of Heart. You know, traditionally, contemplations are done in long, arduous exercises of contemplation. Nowadays, we read something or hear something one time, and we think we've got it, what's next? So we're losing a little bit the art of contemplation because we're easily bored, and we want it to be distracted with something new. So a lot of times, it doesn't really penetrate in our being. Rinpoche used to say that hearing something but not deeply contemplating it until it becomes part of your being is the same thing as never hearing that thing at all, which is the truth. If you've at one point in time learned something and you didn't deeply contemplate it to make it your own, it's the same thing as if you'd never learned that thing. So with patience and diligence, we're contemplating the four immeasurable qualities of equanimity, love, compassion, and rejoicing. So it starts out with a question. Does loving others in the pure sense you're talking about always bring happiness to us as well? Rinpoche said, we define love as the desire that others find happiness. We may have this kind of love whether or not we are suffering at the same time. Even if we're miserable, we can still wish that others attain happiness. Similarly, we may be fully content and wish that others might share this experience. So we can love whether we are happy or suffering. The next question is, sometimes we try to be loving, but our actions have an unintended, even opposite effect. We might do things that we think will be beneficial, but we end up harming instead. Why is that? I think that's something we can all relate to. Your aspiration and thoughtful, committed approach to helping others are in and of themselves virtuous when they come from the heart of compassion. All you can ever do is try, overtly or subtly, and as skillfully as possible, to create the greatest gain and the least harm. Sometimes taking a humble position and working behind the scenes is the most effective. Other times you may have to adopt a more controversial stance, or even get loud and yell. If you act selflessly, whatever you do will produce virtue. The best way to ensure that your actions will lead to positive results is to cultivate a good heart. If you are always kind and helpful, and your actions are based on the aspiration to free all beings from suffering, your efforts will benefit yourself and others. Next question. My wife says that we should always express our emotions, but every time we do it, we just end up angry, feeling worse than before. I'm wondering if all this sharing is really helpful. Rinpoche replied, usually, expressing strong feelings is not the most effective thing to do. Some small benefit may come from it in the short run, But this approach is founded on the mistaken belief that our emotions are caused by someone else's actions. This is a very short-sighted perspective. The real cause of our experience is our karma. It is karma that determines the kind of exchange we have with someone. This doesn't mean that you must accept your suffering passively or fatalistically. You have choices. If you are having difficulties but would like to keep the family together, you can choose to be patient and compassionate instead of hostile and angry. When your wife hurts you, you can choose not to dwell on it, but simply let it go. Rather than brood over what is painful, you can turn your mind in another direction. Sometimes it's most beneficial to give in to someone, to give her what she feels she needs. Though it might seem that you're weak or losing, nothing is lost. If the family relationship improves, there is only gain. As for expressing or processing feelings in moments of conflict, consider how you feel when someone scowls at you or is critical, cold, and rude. If someone is considerate and respectful, even during disagreements, isn't it easier to respond in kind? This is an ancient and practical truth. Treat others as you wish to be treated. Sometimes it's so simple, but we need to hear it again and again and again.